Hello students, these notes are over the distance formula. You should have a handout already that you're just going to be filling in. Alright, so distance formula and length are the same thing. So somebody can ask you for how long something is, and you're really finding the distance from point A to point B. So that's why I put length in parentheses. The formula for distance formula is D equals the square root of x2 minus x1 close parentheses squared plus y2 minus y1 close parentheses squared. You don't have to have the formula memorized. You will have a formula chart anytime you need to use the distance formula. I'm going to show you 3 different methods, just like we did for midpoint, on doing distance formula. When I show you different methods, it's so you can decide which one works best for you. Okay, so once you see that that's the one you want to do, I just want you to keep practicing that one method. Don't try to do all 3 methods, okay? Alright, so the first one, the steps are just like the ones on midpoint, so I didn't write the steps over. I'm just going to say them out loud. What you're going to do is you're going to label your points. So, I'm going to write them over 1, -2, and -3, -4. So, my 1 is my x1, y1, x2, y2. Once you label distance formula, all you have to do is plug it into the formula. So we have D equals the square root of x2, which was -3, minus x1, which was 1, squared, plus y2, which was -4, minus y1, which was -2, squared. Notice that I put minus a -2 because the formula has a minus in it, so I'm going to always still use that minus, okay? Alright, so then all I do is I'm going to go straight down. So I have -3 minus 1, so that would give me -4 squared, plus I have -4 minus -2, so -4 minus -2, if I change both of those, that would be -2 squared. And then I have -4 squared, so that's 16, plus -2 squared, which is 4. And then 16 plus 4 is 20. And then I do the square root of 20 in the calculator, and I use I notice that my equal sign is not straight anymore. It's approximately, because I'm rounding. The distance is approximately 4.5. And that would be my answer. Okay, we're going to do the exact same example 3 times. Like I said, we're just going to do it different methods. So that was the first method. Now we're going to do using the graphing method. And when we're using the graphing method, we're going to use Pythagorean theorem while we're using the graphing method. Okay, this method is using Pythagorean theorem. Let me spell that out. So we're going to use Pythagorean theorem this time, which is, remember, is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So we're going to use the exact same example. So we had 1, -2. So that's a point here. Then we had -3, -4. So we're trying to find the distance here. Now notice it's not a straight line. Well, it's a straight line, but it's not horizontal or vertical. It's diagonal. So you can't count how long it is. But you can use a right triangle to figure it out. So this side here is only 2 units long, and this side here at the bottom is 4 units long. So now I'm going to use Pythagorean theorem to find the same distance. So since I found out my horizontal and my vertical are 2 and 4, those are my A and B. So I have 2 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared. 2 squared is 4, plus 4 squared is 16 equals c squared. 4 plus 16 is 20 equals c squared. And the way you get rid of a squared so you can get c by itself is you do the square root of it. So the square root of 20 gives us 4.5. Notice it is the exact same answer. It just depends on which method you like. Okay. One more method. Okay, this method I still use Pythagorean theorem. I just don't use a graph. So I use a number line way to think of it. So if I had a number line like this, and one point was at 1, -2, and the other one was at -3, -4. This is how I think of it. I say, okay, to get from 1 to -3, I have to move to the left 4. So that would be -4 squared, because I'm still using a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Plus, and then if I go from -2 to -2 to -4, that means I had to move to the left again 2. So that's -2 squared equals c squared. So then I have 16 plus 4 equals c squared, which means I have 20 equals c squared. And again, to get rid of the squared, I do the square root of 20, and I get approximately 4.5. Okay, you need to pick which one you want to work on, and so when we're doing practice, that's the way you're going to do it every time. Okay, and then once you get the hang of it, you might see different methods different ways, but just practice one way first.